The Google TV Streamer 4K isn't just another box you hook up to your TV. It's a device that tries to be your smart home hub, your entertainment center, and your streaming portal all in one. But here's the thing. If you're looking for a gadget that does everything, you might end up with something that does nothing well. The specs say it delivers personalized recommendations, but I've never seen a system that tailors suggestions based on what my dog watches. It's not that it's bad, it's just that the personalization feels like a checkbox exercise. The real question isn't whether it streams 4K, which it does, but whether it's worth the hassle of managing an HDMI 2.1 cable. That cable is required separately, by the way. No one mentions that in the opening sentence. You'd think a product this is smart would bundle essentials. The voice remote is another feature that's touted as intuitive, but navigating menus feels like solving a puzzle. If you're used to remote controls with backlit buttons, this one might surprise you. The 32 gigabytes of storage is a number that sits oddly. It's enough for a few apps, but not for someone who wants to store their entire library. The streaming services it accesses are the usual suspects: Netflix, Pluto TV, and so on. That's a feature that's more promise than practice. You can set it up, but unless you're already invested in Google's ecosystem, it's another layer of complexity. The trade-off here is clear. You get a device that checks most boxes, but it doesn't excel at any. If you're okay with that, it's functional. If you want something that does one thing exceptionally well, this isn't it. The listing doesn't lie about the HDMI requirement, but it also doesn't explain why that's a problem. AMP's careful buyer should ask, why does a streaming device need a high-end cable? The answer is probably simple, but the listing leaves it unspoken. That's the kind of detail that matters. Most people won't care about the 32 gigabytes limit, but for someone with a vast collection, it's a floor, not a ceiling. The voice search remote is another spec that's listed but not emphasized. It's there, but how often do you actually use voice commands? The script must avoid fluff. Every feature needs a consequence. The 4K HDR means clear visuals, but only if your display supports it. The tailored recommendations mean less scrolling, but only if the algorithms are effective. The smart home control means convenience, but only if you're already using Google services. The trade-off is that it's a jack of all trades, not a master of any. The listing's silence on the HDMI cable is a red flag. It's a spec that's easy to overlook, but it's critical. If you forget it, your setup fails. That's not a flaw in the product, it's a flaw in the presentation. The same goes for the storage. The 32 gigabytes is a number, but what it means depends on your habits. The script must state these specifics without invention. The honest limitation is that it's not a single device solution. It requires additional hardware and setup. Most buyers won't reach that ceiling, but it's worth noting. The pricing shift is another factor. Amazon's prices change, and this product's cost could vary. The link in the description is the only way to check the current figure. The decision hinges on whether the convenience of a multifunction device outweighs the need for simplicity. If you're fine with extra steps, it's worth considering. If not, you might regret the purchase. The script ends with the standard reminder about price fluctuations. The key is to frame the choice as a trade-off between functionality and ease. The Google TV Streamer 4K isn't revolutionary, but it's not terrible. It's a product that exists in a gray area, and that's both its strength